I think it's appropriate to ask the question if Mike Tomlin should be fired. What is it now? They haven't won a playoff game in 8 years? They don't seem to be making any progress. It seems to be a year-to-year mediocrity thing where, hey, every year we're going to float right around 500 and everybody's going to run on TV and says, Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season. But now it's appropriate to say, has he reached his expiration date in Pittsburgh? And it seems like people, players, other prognosticators, pontificators in the sports, everybody's now ready to have that conversation. Let's play, I believe it's Shady McCoy, LaShawn McCoy, talking about Mike Tomlin. He expressed the idea that I believe, that like Mike Tomlin needs that great reset, the same one Andy Reid hit. Play the clip.
When you first heard it, you're like, hell no, Mike. Ain't no hot seat. One of the best coaches in football, et cetera, et cetera. Has been an OG in a long time and takes any team to the playoffs, no matter how bad the quarterback play is. But when I sit here and I start looking at the stats, right? You say it's 8-10 in the playoffs, that's not winning. The last time they had a win is 2016, right? I said, hold on, I was still playing then. So they have it, they go to playoffs, but they don't win at all. Still playing. But I thought about it. I was talking to this GM, I won't say his name, and we were arguing. I hate when people, I get real offended when you talk about Andy Reid in a certain light. And with the Eagles, when we fired Andy Reid, I was so mad. So I'm talking to this GM, he said, yeah, man, Andy was great, but his time has passed in Philadelphia. When we had to go in a different direction.
Not saying he's back.
He said, not for the team, but more for him.
Fresh start.
And when he said, you know what? That makes sense. I truly think that Coach Tomlin is one of the best coaches in football. But I think his time at Pittsburgh, I think it should be over, right, if they don't win, right? No, but what I'm saying, I think he goes to another team, a new start, an Andy Reid new start, and gets that old Mike Tomlin back going on because I think he's a championship type of coach. I think he's a playoff type of coach. And sometimes, right, the relationship is over. It's not working the same way like it used to work. I think you put him on another team, right, another start, fresh start, I think he has the same type of impact like Andy Reid. And it's not saying he's a bad coach, just that right now the coach, his relationship, and his team are not working out.
So I agree with him overall. I disagree on the details. I think it's optimistic to say he'll have the same impact on another team that Andy Reid had on the Kansas City Chiefs. Very optimistic to say that. And I say that because Andy Reid and quarterback play, wherever he's been, even as an assistant and now as a head coach, when Donovan McNabb looked great, Michael Vick looked great, Alex Smith looked great, Patrick Mahomes looks like a GOAT candidate. Everywhere Andy Reid has gone, great quarterback play has gone along with him. I don't know what Mike Tomlin, where you can say, well, Mike Tomlin, every year in Pittsburgh, they did what? Played great defense? Is Tomlin seen as the architect of that, or was that Dick LeBeau and the Dick LeBeau tradition? Great quarterback play? That was Ben Roethlisberger. No one was saying that Mike Tomlin was the Ben Roethlisberger whisperer. So I don't. Mike Tomlin's calling card is attitude and tone, mostly at a press conference. He's a great press conference guy. But if you look at the history of that Pittsburgh organization and how that they have an organizational philosophy that it's not reliant on a coach. The organization, the Rooneys, have a philosophy that has ruled over that organization for 50 years or maybe even longer. They've only had 3 coaches, basically, as long as I've been alive. Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin. And it's run from an organizational perspective. The way the draft is done, the head coach isn't all powerful. So maybe Mike Tomlin takes that Pittsburgh organizational structure to another franchise or finds a similar setup where the organization's that strong. But I'm not so sure. But do I think it's time for him to move on and try to reinvent himself someplace else? Does he deserve that opportunity? Would some franchise be honored to have him? And would it be a good hire? Yes, it would. But the whole DEI protection policy and plan, it's over for Mike Tomlin. You're not going to just be able to run around and scream racism if the Pittsburgh Steelers move on from Mike Tomlin. No different. There are people right now that want to scream racism over Gerard Mayo. They're silly and stupid. There's no substance to what they're saying. Until I hear players in New England or even broadcasters or people offering up these opinions saying, hey, I've talked to players in New England who are irate. How dare they let Gerard Mayo go? Oh, this man was amazing. Till I hear that, I ain't buying none of it. These are just people flapping their gums over Twitter or X or whatever and looking for to put some victim status on somebody. Say, oh, God, look how hard it is for the black man. We're not hearing New England Patriots players stand up or even, man, I heard their whole locker room's really upset about them moving on from Gerard Mayo. How do you think these decisions get made? I mean, I know you just think that Robert Kraft and ownership just sit up in a suite in a skybox and pull this stuff out of their rear end. I know you caught the jokes about Woody Johnson and him making decisions over Madden ratings. And that's a dog doo-doo organization, the Jets. The Patriots aren't a dog doo-doo organization. They actually, like most ownership, they actually talk to their players that they trust in that locker room to get their point of view on, hey, what's going on here? Is this coach any good? And that's feedback. That's what gets a Gerard Mayo clipped. When the players within that organization, when trusted assistant coaches, and they got stories to back up what that man, when he did this, I was like, holy cow, I've never seen a head coach do this, blah, blah, blah. He was so unprepared, blah, blah, blah. That's what gets a coach clipped in year one. And that's why Gerard Mayo got clipped. You know why? Because he didn't fit the blueprint. I'm going to show you who fits the blueprint. And he's got 4 or 5 teams beating down his door. And this is what we never really hear about as it relates to who have been the best black coaches in the history of the National Football League. It would be Tony Dungy, Mike Tomlin, Lovie Smith. What was their blueprint? To me, it sounded a lot like Aaron Glenn's blueprint, the defensive coordinator with the Detroit Lions. I saw this on the Pivot podcast with Ryan Clark, where Aaron Glenn was talking about, and he's a former great NFL player, had a nice NFL career, and then took the path of trying to be an NFL head coach very seriously. He didn't come in with a sense of entitlement of, hey, I'm a former great player, someone should fast track me to be a head coach. This man started from the bottom because he had a real plan. Let's play SOT number 1, Aaron Glenn talking about his path to becoming a potential head coach.
And it's a saying I always say, I didn't stick my toe in the water to see if it was cold. I jumped right on in there. Right, and I scouted, in-house scout with the Jets a couple of years, then I went on the road. I was driving for hours, right, college scouting. Then I went right to being an assistant DB coach. I did my QC thing because I want to make sure I didn't miss one step. I want to start from the bottom. I told everybody I was there, don't treat me any different than anybody else, right? Because I want to understand everything there is about the scouting process. I want to know everything about being a QC. I want to know everything about being an assistant coach, all right, to a lead DB coach, to a defense coordinator I am right now, right? And I'm hoping to be a head coach at some point.
This is the advice that needs to be given to young people, regardless of color, but particularly young black people. Prepare yourself for success. Don't entitle your way to success. This young people, and this black, white, green, whatever, they all want to be instantly at the top of the food chain. They all want to know how they can cut in line. Aaron Glenn didn't want to cut in line. He wanted to prepare himself for greatness. And that's what he did. And that's why he can have his pick of 4 or 5 NFL jobs, because what he's done here in Detroit, particularly this year with all the injuries he's faced on the defensive side of the football, it's him and Ben Johnson, Detroit's offensive coordinator. These are the 2 hottest coaching prospects in all of football. And Aaron Glenn sounds like Lovie Smith did on his way up. Mike Tomlin did on his way up. Tony Dungy did on his way up. Paid his dues and prepared. Hey, he may fail, but it won't be for a lack of preparation. It won't be because the man didn't execute a game plan. And this is, they anointed Gerard Mayo, put it in writing, you're the head coach in waiting and blah, blah, blah. They anointed Gerard Mayo. And then he blew up in their face. This man, Aaron Glenn, prepared himself for success, and now he's about to get a great opportunity, a well-earned opportunity. And then there'll be the guys that will be somewhere complaining about racism, be somewhere, I can't get a shot, I can't get a chance. That's all BS. You can get a shot, you can get a chance. Prepare yourself for it. If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss a moment of Fearless.